Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Emily Smith, and I'm going to talk to you today about how to choose a career that actually fulfills you in your 9 to 5. And throughout my talk, whenever you have any questions, just throw them in the chat and I'll get to them at the end. Awesome. So this topic comes from my own personal experience. So just a little background. I graduated college in 2013 and I jumped into a career of account management. And I realized 5 years in that this is not aligned at all with what I want to be doing. And I had to really start from scratch and find what I wanted to do. And I didn't realize this until 2016. So it took a while to figure it out, and then this year, 2020, I landed a job that is really aligned with my purpose and to do that. And so first, before I get started, I want to share a few things to watch out for when you are choosing your career. So a common pitfall is choosing a career based solely on the financial benefit. So I went to a business school and everyone around me was doing finance, and I had a lot of loans to pay off, as you probably do too. And I was like, okay, looks like if I have a career in finance on Wall Street, I'll be able to do that really quickly. And I tried to do finance and I had no interest at all. So make sure you're looking at the full picture of the career, not just the potential financial benefits, but also the lifestyle of the type of work you'd be doing, the culture, the benefits, things like that. That's the first mistake to watch out for. The second mistake is thinking that you'll only be able to find a career in a fulfilling career in entrepreneurship. So that's the mistake that I made. I quit my job without a plan in 2016, and I really just thought, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to be my own boss, and that way I have control over everything. And I was really just disillusioned with having jobs that weren't aligned with my purpose. So I just want to share that so you know that just jumping into having your own company is not for everyone, and it's not going to always be fulfilling on the hard days. So that's the second mistake. And then the third mistake is not looking deep enough in yourself when you're choosing a career. So like me, you might have had a job that you liked before and then now you don't. And now you're in the job search and you're trying to navigate it and you're not really excited, and you're just kind of going after jobs that were what you were doing before, really similar to that. So if you don't look so deeply within yourself and get super clear what your values are, what's going to light you up every day, what you're good at, what you're not good at, what types of people you like working with, like down really granular like that, then you're not going to get clear on the type of company and job that's going to be most fulfilling for you. So those are the three common pitfalls. And now I want to share with you the process of actually choosing and what I like to call creating your career. That's really worked for me and others that I've helped this year as well. So first of all, like I said, you are going to want to, and by the way, my whole talk right now is a article on Better Humans with the same title. So I'm referencing that throughout as I speak. And you want to look at that for more details as well on how to actually do this. So first of all, learn about yourself. Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And I could not agree with that more, because when I was in a career that wasn't fulfilling, I didn't know myself at all. I just kind of looked at what other people were doing, looked at what my career counselor was telling me to do, looked at what my parents were telling me to do. So the only person that's going to know for sure is you. So you have to be really clear on who you are to find the job you want. And again, I even went to companies where I was interviewing and they said, you're perfect for this role, like you can do this. And I got there and it was not at all what I liked to do. So you need to know yourself and be the driver of your career in that sense. And the first way to do that is really writing down what lights you up in your day-to-day job that you do now and what drains your energy. So that'll be really a good exercise to see what you're already doing, what you like and what you don't, because when you choose your career, it's going to be based off the things that you've liked in previous roles or things that you've wanted to learn, and what you didn't like, you'll just make sure to avoid that. So it's pretty simple. There's also personality tests. So I don't know about you, but I love personality tests. And they're just a good way of, not giving the full picture of who you are, but like this objective point of view of, okay, here's what you're good at and how you work with others. So there's the 16 personalities test, which you've probably heard about or even done tests at your workplace before. And then I really like the Genius test, which is based on Chinese and Indian schools of thought of seasons, and that everyone has a part of a season in them. So I am a blaze genius, and basically that's representing fire, the element fire, and summer. And what that means is I really need to be talking with a lot of people in my day-to-day and bouncing ideas with others. And I was always in roles where I was kind of just on my own doing the work, and I had client-facing work, but not enough just like connection with others. And then I started this year wanting to be fully remote. I wanted a remote job. I thought that was going to lead to me and have control over my lifestyle, things like that. And then I did remote work, as many of us have, with this pandemic, and I felt really isolated, and I really didn't feel like that creative flow because I wasn't meeting new people, connecting with others. So that's just another aspect of knowing yourself that's going to help you pick the right role. There's also more tests you can do, like human design, that really helped me discover how to interact and how to use my energy, and your astrology chart as well, to give you kind of an idea of careers that would be good for you, because I've been there before, and when you have zero clue of where to turn, these kind of just give you little pointers in the right directions. So the next focus that you want to focus on when you're doing your career is really finding what your preferred work style is. So I touched on this about working remotely, and you all want to really get in clear on the details of, do you like structure in your day-to-day? Do you like it more, every day is new and you're just kind of jumping in because you might not know? And I've had clients do this where they thought they wanted to work at a startup and they were all about that, and then they went there and they didn't like not knowing what the day was going to look like, and having really long days, really short days. Like, it depends on lifestyle. So myself, I have a side business along with my full-time job in digital marketing, and my side business is working with this full-time job because I chose a job that the lifestyle of the work is I get to go home every day at 5 and there's no work on the weekend. So make sure that you take into account the type of lifestyle too that would work with your full-time role. Next is my favorite assessment is Ikigai. You might have heard of this Japanese concept, which is basically finding what you love, what you're good at, and what pays well. So when you use this methodology, you get to find the job that'll really bring fulfillment to you every day. If you're missing one of those things, it's going to be hard to find that balance. So I linked another article in my Medium article on this about Ikigai and that whole concept, and that's really, really helped me see, align with my purpose and what I'm here to do, and how I can get paid well, because that matters too. And I want to just share, when you're doing this as well, be open to trying on new things. This goes into my next point of researching and trying as many careers on as possible. So I'll share an example of myself and then my client. So for me, I have a background in marketing, but that's really, really broad. So I wanted to find some area of marketing that would be good for me. And I really thought that would be graphic design at first. So I tried out graphic design. I went to some classes at General Assembly and at Adobe. And then I just also did some work on Upwork to do some little to see how that would be. I also wanted to do copywriting. So I did some freelance writing, built out my portfolio. And, I tried both of those careers on, and you'll want to do this for yourself, like really envision yourself doing that job every day. Take on projects like that so you can see what it would be like, and then you can tell, like, is this what you're actually going to like? So I didn't like graphic design because if I did that every day, I felt it was very technical and again, not enough people interaction for me. And then the copywriting as well. I was like, I don't like just the idea of doing one thing every day. I realized I need a lot of variety. So for my client, he this year was in a real estate role. And he wanted to do something in marketing, so make that transition from his background in finance and real estate. And he tried on a lot of different areas of marketing. He tried video marketing because he just liked the idea of like creating, you know, YouTube videos and promotional videos. He also tried performance marketing, and that was more like the analytics and strategy. And then he ended up going with the performance analytics because that kind of made sense with his financial background and he liked the numbers. So you'll want to try on these different careers like that. And it's also known as the concept of prototyping, so that you have a good sense of the job that you would be doing if you're doing a transition like this. And I did a lot of volunteer work in this area too. As a writer, as a graphic designer, I use the website Volunteer Match, so you can do online volunteer work in your field for free, that sense too. So you'll want to try those on and really envision yourself as that career. And that's basically, you're doing all of this before you jump into your job search. So you don't want to go into the job search and do this like on the side. I know it's like a little hard to do that, but for me and for my clients, I've just, you know, realized that you can't be searching for something that you don't know what that is yet. So I found that this process that I'm talking about right now takes about 3 months. And that's the amount of time that I found, you know, to really feel into a career and if it will work for you. Next, you'll want to talk to as many people as possible. So in your prototyping, you're going to want to talk to people that actually have the job that you're looking for. And you'll want to do this. It's so easy to do it through LinkedIn, through your personal network. Just tell people what you're interested in, what you're looking, and you'll be so surprised of how many people come out of the woodwork and, you know, start recommending you to talk to this person, talk to that person. And you can set up 20-minute calls on Zoom, have a set of questions to ask, and, you know, once you'll have those questions, you can just, you know, use them over and over for the same people. But that's going to help you see like what they're saying. Do they like this aspect? Would you actually like that? Or the part that they don't like that, do you agree with that? And you can get a really good feel for someone's, you know, work in their day-to-day and see if that would be a good fit just from talking with people. And I must have talked to hundreds of people, and I still do it now. It's just like a practice that's ingrained with me, and I love it because I'm just meeting new people all the time, which is my Blaze genius, and I like doing anyways. But again, you're being referred, you're building your network in a way that's just like actually authentic and authentic connections. And so you'll want to do that so you're not in like this vacuum of you just trying to figure things out in your head. That's not going to work. And so I want to also share a story about one of my clients, and he was basically he was an ENFP in the 16 personality, so he knew he needed to be in a role that was like creative and outward facing, and he was also at the time he was in an accounting role, so he wasn't finding that balance of the people and you know, in-person connections that he needed. So he got clear on getting that job that would be more in a public-facing way. And although he found it in another area of finance, he started his side business in social media marketing. So that really helped him get in touch with businesses and do their social media for them very successfully. And that's what I also want to share throughout this too. Your full-time work doesn't need to be your full-time fulfilling, your only fulfilling aspect in life. I think that for me, having both my full-time work, which I find fulfilling, but also my business is a good balance of getting, you know, the creativity and the, I guess I'm not just putting pressure on just one of those things to fulfill me, because I think you'll find that if you just did that all on one thing, it would be, you'd be putting a lot of pressure on it to be that one thing for you. So I found my fulfilling career this year as a digital marketing manager at a female-founded life sciences firm. And they support employee health safety for life science companies because, like I was saying, I got clear on my values that I need to work for a company whose mission I feel emotionally aligned with. And the role is so funny. So I work on the social media, the blog, the website, the email campaigns, and it's parts of those other careers that I was prototyping. So I make all our graphics and I use Canva and some Adobe. But I love it because it's not like the only part of the role. And the copywriting, I write all the copy on our social media and our email campaigns, our websites, and things like that. So I love the variety. And I also work on the employer branding side, which is another part that I didn't know I would have liked, but I'm helping, shape the culture, put together diversity, equity, and inclusion group and a wellness program for our company. So that's the people aspect that I really like and that I don't think I would find in a traditional, digital marketing role. So what's going to happen for you when you follow these steps and you get very clear on what lights you up, what fills you up, you'll have it all written down. And because you'll be focusing on that so much, you will attract the right role for you that has all these elements that you wouldn't even have thought of. So it's all about you creating it yourself from within. Awesome. So that's my talk, and I shared my link to my website. Hello, everyone. Oh, thank you. Yeah, my plant's on my window. Tossin, yes, you're in the same situation you had that I had after you graduate. Yeah, so maybe it's like that, what's it called? Not the midlife crisis, but when you're in your 20s. And I think a lot of us are going through that now too with this pandemic. And I just want to share that I went through this late last year and I was looking for a job throughout the pandemic and coaching others to do the same alongside me. And I've helped people that were laid off twice during this pandemic. And it's basically you have to let go of the timetable as well. Like I was saying, it's annoying, but you just have to focus on finding the right thing and let go of everything else. And it might take a while and it will really test your resilience as well. And I love supporting people doing that because it's more so about your mindset and how you're showing up every day and co-creating really with the universe of getting your fulfilling career. If there's any other questions? I want to see. Oh, and I'll share the article as well, just so you have it. Okay, how do you find a career when you already have obligations, bills, kids, etc., and you don't really have a lot of time to explore? So I recommend getting a bridge job. This is what I did last year. And that can be in something that's literally not related at all to what you want. And you just have zero, you're not using that as your fulfillment kind of job. And maybe that's your job right now. For me, I did a temp job most of last year as an admin role and a receptionist. And I just, on the side was building up my writing portfolio. I was helping businesses with their social media, and I was doing this process that I've been talking about. And you can do that so that then you can just dive into the job search. That's like a whole other part of this, but that's my recommendation. So you don't have to think about, paying your bills, things like that. You're getting this job with the understanding of this is not my fulfilling career. This is just the bridge to getting there. I hope that was helpful. Oh, how do you deal with the fact that, this is from Grace, that careers are focused in one area if you have many differing interests? I can relate to this. I have many different interests. I just talk to you about a few of them, but I also am creative. I'm a painter. So there's just all different areas. And I think you can find that fulfillment in your role and in your side projects. So I think if you have a passion right now, you could just start your little portfolio of it. If you're doing painting, for example, or photography, take people's photos for free, build your experience. And again, you'll also want to look for a job that has a lot of variety, which is like the role that I'm in right now that I was telling you. It has a lot more variety than most roles. And you can find this in like a kind of a generalist kind of role. You don't need to find that very, very specific of just doing one thing. Everyone's different. And for me, I really need variety every day. And it sounds like you do as well. You have different interests. And I just feel that once you find the actual kind of, you're clear on, okay, I only work with a company that I feel emotionally aligned with, like you're not specifically focusing on what type of company, then the kind of company that you want to comes to you. Like I didn't think I would be working at a life sciences company, but that's just what happened. So you can be a little bit vague about that as well. For Russ, look into job crafting. Oh, okay. I haven't heard of job crafting. Rial, I had a 9 to 5 and managed to build a writing portfolio on Medium, which landed me a seat in a creative writing MA. Is that master's? So small steps every day work miracles. That's amazing. Congratulations. Wow. So exactly like that, you can just start your writing process. And I feel like in this transition of finding your career is when your passions are born in other ways. I know another friend of mine just started her podcast right now while she's looking for a job in marketing. So by the way, when you start doing all these little projects like you're doing writing, Real, they'll add into your experience and your portfolio for your eventual career that you have. So for me, I didn't know why. I just, saw businesses that I liked and that they had issues with social media, and I just reached out to them and I started helping them. So on paper, it looked really random that I was working admin somewhere and then doing some social media work and then doing some writing and then coaching. But then it all came together as I used those experiences on my resume, same with the volunteer work. So you can all, you'll see that your career could fit these in because you'll have experience in it. How did you carry out the specific search for your current job? This is by Clara. So this is what I work on mostly with clients because there's different custom strategies for everyone based on the industry and things like that. But I think a lot of it is in what I talked about, like the networking and working with a coach to get your resume in the right place, because once I did that, and that just kind of changed everything for me. But once you have the clarity on the actual job, the strategies are just like repeat every day. It's pretty easy. And it takes time though. Like I was saying, it took me 8 months. It took me 3 months to figure out the job, and then I think 5 months, and then I think a few months were added because of the pandemic. I was actually close to landing a job in March, 2 jobs, and then the pandemic happened. They just were off the table, so I kind of had to start again a little bit. But again, you have to let go of the timeline. Tossin, I need an advice. I'm now at a job as web developer. My coworkers are great and the workplace habits are good as well. But for some reason, I'm not enjoying it and I want to quit and start my own web design business. But I'm afraid because the company pays well and I don't know if I could succeed in my business. Can you please share your opinion? Sorry for such a long text. Not at all. So this is a dilemma. I think I talk to a lot of clients that have this, and I've gone through this myself. It's based on what you're willing to live with and what you're not willing to live with. So if you're willing to just reframe it, I think this is the easiest thing that I've done and my clients have done, is just reframe it as, okay, this business, this job is just income and an investment in my business. Like you can use your income from that to start your own business and build it alongside it. I think that would be the smartest role. But if you literally can't stand it and it's every day you go in and it's like eating away at your soul, then you should get out of it and do a good job, like I was saying. So it's all based on, you know, how much you're willing to tolerate. And I find that a lot of people that are able to do that reframe. For me, I've been in different jobs, but the first time when I realized, like, I was in a career for 5 years, like I had to just quit without a plan. So that's not the ideal situation, but sometimes you have to. But for you, it sounds like you have coworker great that are great workplace habits. So it doesn't sound like it's that much of an issue, but you could just be building your web design business alongside it and giving yourself a deadline of like, okay, after 2 or 3 years, I want to take it only with my business. You're welcome. Masters of Art. Wow. That's amazing. Congrats again. Oh, I'll definitely check out that job crafting too. That sounds cool. Not a question, but I want to echo your advice, Emily. I taught myself new skills to get myself out of an unfulfilling job and landed a career I absolutely love. Your tips are spot on. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, it's all about teaching yourself the skills, right? You could really learn anything. And I want to share that as well. When I transitioned, I did learn everything on my own. I used, and I'm in marketing, so I used HubSpot, has free trainings. You could find trainings through LinkedIn and certification. So you can definitely do that as well. You have complete control over your learning and your knowledge. You're welcome, Jason or Tossin. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Just looking at what you answered about teaching yourself data analysis. Yeah, I really like that there's free courses online. There's HubSpot, like I mentioned, General Assembly is another one. And then your networking, people can recommend as well, and you can do some research. The Balance is a great website for careers and what trainings you need. So we're very fortunate that all the information is out there and it's all available for us to use. You're welcome. I'm so glad this was helpful. Let me see if there's any other questions. So good luck to all of you. I know 2021 can be the year where you find your fulfilling career and use these steps. I shared the Medium article, which is more expanding on the steps that I talked about. And I shared my website and my company, Guide to Wholeness Healing, where I am providing one-on-one coaching for 3 months basis to go through this process and support you with custom strategies. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. What, Mary Beth? Okay. Alrighty, just wanted to make sure there are any more questions, but hope you have a great rest of your weekend and good luck. And I'm hoping to stay in touch with a lot of you here.